Thank you for joining us here on WCNC Charlotte and streaming live on WCNC Plus. I'm Caitlin Hagwood. We continue to follow the news of this storm that has been moving through our area. We've already started to see some severe thunderstorm warnings for the eastern part of our coverage area. So I want to turn things over now to Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich and Becca Birdsall, who are monitoring it all.
Yeah, Caitlin, the good news, west, we're starting to see some better weather. East, that's where the problems have been, and that's where the tornado watch is in effect until this afternoon, 2 o'clock this afternoon to be. In fact, those are the counties south and east of Charlotte. That does include Anson, Stanley, Richmond, and Chesterfield counties, though we are seeing some severe weather currently in parts of Union County, but it's almost coming to an end. Let me show you the radar here, and we'll show you the severe thunderstorm warnings. Huge severe thunderstorm warnings. Union County's up for another 15 minutes, but Anson, Stanley, Richmond counties east, that's up until 10 o'clock. That's when I expect these storms to be out of the area. They're moving northeast very quickly, 45 miles per hour. We're seeing the back edge move into Charlotte. Still some light rain happening, but you see this area right here? This is right on the Anson Union County line up into Stanley County. This is kind of a wind shift, and that's what we always watch. The winds are coming from this direction here, and they're coming from this direction there. So wherever these kind of kink up and tighten up, that's where you can see spin up tornadoes. Like right there, that's an area I would watch very carefully, and that area right there. So until it exits those counties, we're going to keep an eye on that. The backside, though, the good news, we're actually starting to see some clearing. Not only is it not raining, the sun is beginning to come out in areas of the west. And that second line we were watching carefully, that is weakened as well. Severe storms down in the Midlands of South Carolina. We could see additional warnings for Chesterfield County as well as this pushes in. You can already see that the Storm Prediction Center is beginning to shift the severe weather risk to the east, and this will continue to trend east into the afternoon. If we can get to lunchtime, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape and get all this mess out of here. There could be some lingering pop-up storms back to the northwest with the actual cold front, but it looks like the ingredients just aren't quite there for those to be as strong as the storms on the leading edge of these storms this morning. Now, Becca's been tracking the winds all morning and these storms. The winds have been a big story, but it's beginning to push out. The winds are still staying high in parts of our area.
Yeah, that's right. Want to show this Boone camera courtesy of Resort Cams, and this is a look at King Street. You also actually have people out and about as rain chances have really tapered off there. Now, what's going to linger is going to be that wind, and winds have been highest in the high country. That is up to 52 max wind gusts over in Boone. 59 miles per hour was reported in Asheville, and those are areas that we have had reports of downed trees and of course down power lines as well. We had a max wind gust up to 40 here in Charlotte and 40 in Monroe as the severe thunderstorm warning has continued across Union County. Want to get to those storm reports? This is over in southern McDowell County, just outside of our viewing area, but want to show this as multiple trees have been reported down and up towards Boone, Watauga counties. County-wide, trees are reporting being down and some roads blocked as well, so make sure to stay weather alert as we continue to see these storms push off to the east.
All right, Becca, thanks. As these storms move into our area, you can play a big part in helping us tell the story. If you see any storm damage or flooding, you can take a photo or video, send it to us using the Near Me feature inside the free WCNC Charlotte mobile app, a good resource whenever we have any type of severe weather happening in our area. Just tell us the location of where that photo is taken. It does help us tell the story. Now, we do have crews who have been out watching those impacts, and thankfully they've only seen those conditions improve as we've gone throughout the day. Our Jesse Pierre live now in the Chevy Storm Tracker. Jesse, you've been in Gaston County, you've been down south as far as York County. Where are you now and what are you seeing?
Good morning. Yes, we are leaving the Great Falls area and we just got on the 77 north heading back towards Charlotte. And like you mentioned, we've done some driving today. So we started out in Gaston County where we had some heavy rain this morning and also some lightning there. And then we made our way through Charlotte to York County and so forth. And again, the heavy rain was pretty steady throughout the morning. But looking now, things are clearing up. It feels like we have a beautiful day ahead and the worst is behind us. We believe, we hope. There's still some wet roads, so you still want to be careful while you're driving because especially on the roadway there are, crevices and so forth. So those puddles can, create some challenges while you're driving. But overall, it is definitely much more clear. And so very excited about that. Sending it back to you.
I want to send things over to our Brad Panovich now as we are now tracking a tornado warning in Stanley County.
Yeah, I was just looking at this cell pretty closely. This is the cell in parts of Stanley County. So there's Albemarle, there's Big Lick. So the circulation is right there. This is a new tornado warning. This is tracking northeast through parts of Stanley County. This is heading towards the Albemarle area right now. So I'm going to go over the radar and I'm going to show you the velocity data because this is the area I was watching. I was literally about to post an update on this when I could see this little circulation right around Big Lick. I'm going to slow this down and back it up a little bit because you can actually see it spin up north of New Salem, right around Big Lick, right there. I'm going to zoom in closely and you can actually see the circulation. So the greens are winds coming in like this. The reds and the yellows are winds coming like that. So just east of Red Cross towards Big Bear Road, this is pushing to the north and east at 45 miles an hour. This is moving very quickly. So I'm going to try to stay ahead of this because remember, the radar is not exactly always live. It's sweeping. So when you see an image, it's like taking a picture of moving traffic. The image you're seeing already happened. So we're going to track ahead of this. Norwood Beach around 9:48, River Haven around 9:51, Liberty Hill at 9:58, Uwharrie around 10:01, El Dorado 10:03, Troy roughly around 10:06. But if you're in Albemarle, I want to widen this out a little bit because I think this is going to be very close to the south side of Albemarle. So I'm going to track this again just to give Albemarle a heads up. 9:45, but remember, plus or minus about 10 minutes here. On this tornado warning, because remember, you're probably watching this on a stream. There's a delay, cable, satellite, there's a delay. So don't use that exact time. I want you to be in your safe spot right now, about 5 minutes before that time in Albemarle. Right there is our circulation. You can actually see it showing up on the radar. And this is what I was talking about. Remember, if you were watching just in the last 20 minutes or so, I was pointing to this area because this is where you see tightening up. When the winds are coming in this direction, they start moving in. It starts to kind of pinch off here and kind of rotate a little bit to the north and east. So if you live in Stanley County, or if you have friends or family in Stanley County, what I want you to do is go ahead and call them. It's a Sunday morning. Remember, a lot of folks are probably on their way to church, at church, maybe getting ready for church. Most folks on Sunday might not be watching TV or paying attention. Their phone might be muted. So what you want to do is tell them, hey, in your home, find the center of your home, the most interior room. It could be a hallway. It could be a closet. It could be a pantry. My house, it's the stairs, under the staircase closet. It's a great place to go. Grab a helmet if you have it. I know that seems weird, but if you have any kind of helmet or head protection, grab it. Put it on your head. It'll protect you from flying debris, and stay in there until we give it the all clear in parts of Stanley County. So again, this emphasis here, this is Stanley County where we have the tornado warning. I'm going to widen the radar out just to give you a wider view to kind of show you the perspective on where this is. Central part of Stanley County, right near Albemarle, that's where it's heading. So Albemarle is the big center, population center there. This is heading right towards Albemarle. And when we look at the velocity that you can actually see, I mean, this loop is telling, just looking at this rotation. Right there. If there's a tornado on the ground, it's south of Edie, heading towards central part of Stanley County. So the south side of Albemarle. So this is 24, which goes out, if you've driven all the way out there past Locust, Red Bridge, Red Cross, which is just a kind of a crossroads there east of Big Lick. This is traveling just south of 24 in the rural and central parts of Stanley County, but it's heading towards Albemarle. So if you're in Albemarle, listen to me, if you are there, you need to be in your safe spot now. Get to the lowest floor of your home. Don't wait this out because, as I mentioned, this is moving 45 miles per hour. Every time the radar sweeps around, remember, it could be moving several streets over in that short period of time. So again, the area we're watching right here, that's the area, that's the rotation right there on radar. I'm going to do an updated storm track. I want to make sure I have the correct time. I'm actually going to increase the speed to 50 miles per hour just to give you more heads up. We'll track the circulation. So in Albemarle, you could see it actually sped up a little bit, 9:45. So 9:45 this morning is when I want you to be in your safe spot. That's a pretty strong indication of circulation on the radar. We don't have any indications from spotters that it's actually on the ground, but that's likely going to be at the very minimum producing damage. So you just saw the radar update there. So remember, That's a picture. That just happened, but it's probably right here now. And the next frame, it's going to be here and then here. So in Albemarle, I mean, that's 6 minutes away. Don't wait. Go now. In Baden, get to your shelter location as well. This is going to head towards the lake, cross over and go to the Uwharrie area over there towards Uwharrie National Park, the park there, I should say, and the National Forest as it pushes to the north and east. Becca, this storm has had a history of producing damaging winds, but this is the first time today that we've seen it kind of spin up like that.
That's right, and that's what we've been talking about over basically the course of the morning. Is there's so much wind shear thanks to that low-level jet, and winds have been very intense with this system. We've seen it in the high country, we've seen it in the metro, gusting upwards of 60 miles per hour at times. Now, we had our first severe thunderstorm warning, and that was issued for Union County for those 60 mile per hour wind gusts. But this is our first tornado warning. And again, I want to read you what the National Weather Service out in Raleigh is saying about this. So this is going to be a severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado, was located near Albemarle, and it's headed up that way. That area of rotation is headed up towards Albemarle. Like Brad was mentioning, it is a Sunday morning. A lot of people tend to relax on Sunday morning. So if you know someone that is located within this polygon, make sure to call them and let them know that we have dangerous weather that is on the way. Even if this is not a confirmed tornado on the ground, it is likely producing a very strong wind gusts. We've already seen reports of downed trees and down power lines, and certainly big power outages that have been located up towards the high country, where we've seen those wind gusts between 50 to 60 miles per hour. So these are the impacts and the threats that are headed your way. I want to mention that this is all rain wrapped. We've got intense rain in and around this area. So if you think you can go outside and you're going to see a funnel, that's not the case. This will likely creep up on you if you don't have those alerts set up on your phone. So again, if you know anyone within this polygon, tell them to tune in to WCNC as we continue to track this. Again, this is a radar indicated tornado and a dangerous storm that was located and is pushing towards Albemarle and is set to expire close to around 10 o'clock. Now, I want to show you that latest update on that velocity. So here it is, close to Indy. I'd say about Highway 24 is going to be impacted by this, closer to the hills. Street Martin Road, I believe that is Mary Road, St. Martin Road, all roads that this is going to be traveling over, again, either containing that confirmed tornado or producing really strong wind gusts with this system. Now, I want to go back to about 15 minutes ago, where you can actually see that little notch form as the system headed towards Stanley County. So heading back into the last 15 minutes, notice you see a little bit of a notch towards Big Lick. That's when that warning was issued. So a lot of times, sometimes these tornadoes, they may touch down briefly and lift right back up. It's more of a broad rotation, but that little notch is definitely an indication that this is a rotating thunderstorm and you need to take it seriously. So again, active tornado warning that continues for Stanley County, but I want to also mention that this is located within that severe thunderstorm warning that also continues for our most eastern counties. So while we, of course, are focusing on that tornado warning, we also have those severe thunderstorm warnings producing 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And so you want to treat that as a tornado warning as well. Make sure to get in your safe spot. That is going to be away from windows and certainly maybe at a closet or a bathroom. Brad.
Yeah, Becca, we're watching that area. I was just walking on the screen there to kind of show you this area that you were just talking about. So I was just focusing in, checking on some of the reports here. The circulation is right here. Now, it doesn't look as tight, and what I mean by that is when I see the green start to embed in here and kind of rotate out, but the outflow, the rear flank downdraft here is coming out pretty strong. That could actually cause a forward push of those winds, which would then tighten up the circulation. So in Albemarle, if you're listening to me or watching us right now, please be in your shelter location. If you're watching me from anywhere else and you know somebody in this area, call and text them right now. Tell them to seek shelter until the top of the hour. So this is heading towards Baden and the lake. So this is basically the southeast, the whole south side of Albemarle. But everybody in Albemarle, even the downtown area, needs to seek shelter until this area passes through over the next 15 minutes or so. It's moving quickly. I mean, again, that's where it is right now, or where it was, I should say. It's probably already moving into the city limits of Albemarle. So So you got to be ahead of this by about a couple of minutes. Don't wait. The precise time, I know precision is not the same as accuracy. So even though we're giving you precise times, give yourself some wiggle room. Do it 5 to 10 minutes earlier and then stay there 5 to 10 minutes later until the storm passes. This is pushing to the northeast pretty quickly. I'd say it's probably moving closer to 50 to 55 miles per hour. This is heading right through the central part of Stanley County, and it's going to directly hit Albemarle, hopefully not as a tornado, but even so, the straight line winds by themselves are dangerous enough to be outside, so be inside. Remember, if you're at home right now or if you're in any building, find that interior room, lowest level of your structure. What you want to do is put as many walls between you and the outside. What those walls will do, they will block flying debris. I think there's this misnomer a lot of times with tornadoes, maybe Hollywood's done this, where people think they're going to get pulled or sucked up and blown around. That's not what happens in tornadoes. What happens, tornadoes pick other things up, parts of houses, trees, debris, and slings them around at 90, 100, 150 miles per hour, depending on the strength of the storm. And most people that get hurt or injured in tornadoes, they get hit with flying debris. That's why we'd say put a helmet on, because head trauma, 80% of the injuries or deaths in tornadoes are head trauma, meaning getting hit in the head with debris. So protect that head. That's why in school, we tell the kids do the drill, they cover their heads with their arms. If you have a helmet, better than the arms, do the helmet if you can, and head to that shelter location. Also bring your shoes in there just in case there is damage. You don't want to be walking out in bare feet over broken glass, nails, and wood, so make sure you have a pair of shoes in there and grab your device. That's why we're streaming right now. You can listen to us. Wait till we give you the all clear. Now, if you're west of Albemarle, these areas you're in the clear from the tornado, but from Albemarle east you are not. You need to be in that shelter location for the next 15 minutes until we give you the all clear. The good sign, if there is one, is that the fact that I don't see that starting to twist or get tightened up. In fact, it's flattening out, meaning that it's looking more and more like straight line wind damage on the Doppler radar. Doppler radar could show us the direction of the winds. It can pick up debris sometimes. And right now we're not seeing lofted debris. It's pretty far from the radar to see that. But what the winds are telling us is that we briefly had a spin up there. As we went back a couple of frames, you could see that. And now it looks like it's flattening out. So I'm gonna head over to the radar real quickly. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back the radar up and kind of show you what it looked like when it was stronger. If you back it up right here, you can actually see the brighter greens that were right there just east of Big Lick, and then it starts flattening out a little bit. And so that's a little bit better sign that that's all becoming straight line winds. And so if that's the case, that's actually a good sign that the storm has shown at least some signs of weakening as it pushes off to the east. And again, it's flying, it's moving. Let's put a track on this. I'm gonna put the radar version back on. So the tornado warning is up till 10 a.m. I'm gonna track the whole leading edge of this through Albemarle towards like El Dorado. And this will give you an updated storm track. So New London 949, Baden 953. So this thing's moving quicker. It's probably gonna move out of the warning polygon before the warning is set to expire. So that's why if you're in the areas outside of the polygon, go ahead and seek shelter right now. There might be an additional warning. If not, it's best to be safe and just stay there till we give you the all clear. But again, this tornado warning is up until 10 a.m. and we might see additional warnings east of here. So Becca, the big story has been the winds all day, but this is the first time we've seen that kind of rotation kind of shrink up quickly, and these are fast moving. This is what we were worried about this morning, these QLCS tornadoes, which happen really quick, and as quick as they happen, sometimes they go away.
That's right, Brad. And you know what? That center of circulation that we were tracking is now over Albemarle. So like you were mentioning, this has been a quick moving system pushing to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour. Now, the National Weather Service has not extended this tornado warning. So that continues for as well. So that will be the primary concern until about 10 o'clock. Again, we will be watching to see if this does get extended beyond Albemarle and beyond Stanley County. But right now, it looks like that circulation has really broadened up, not nearly as tight, not nearly as big of an indicator that there could be a tornado on the ground. Now, what we do know is this likely is causing some really, really intense winds. That has been our primary concern with this storm system that we've been talking about all week long, is these winds are going to be so strong with this system, and that's exactly what we've been seeing all morning long. 50 to 60 mile per hour. Trees have been down. We've got lots of reported power outages. So even if this is not a confirmed tornado on the ground, definitely want to treat it as such. Again, as this continues to push into the heart of Albemarle, I want to get to that newest scan, now pushing past Albemarle and maybe towards downtown. I've got East Main Street on here as one of the roads. I've got Northeast Connector also going to be impacted by this as it continues to push to the northeast. Again, we're going to be on guard for this. I'm going to go ahead and put a tracker on this as it continues to push to the northeast. And if this gets extended past Stanley County, to let you know and warn you as this continues again to move very rapidly. So going to put it out a little bit ahead of this system and see if we can put a tracker on this, if my computer will allow it. Okay, that's okay. All right, gonna try that one more time. Again, pushing out of Albemarle, and if this warning continues, this is a heads up to Baden. That is 956, and Palmerville 957. Again, this is an active tornado warning, and it's the only one that we have, and this is going to be for Anson County. We also have severe thunderstorm warnings in the area as well that are impacting Wadesboro, Richmond, and producing some really strong wind gusts, 60 mile per hour winds. And we do have a live look outside, I believe, from downtown Albemarle that we want to show. Okay, so you can see some intense rain, likely some intense winds with this system. Of course, this is a very rain-wrapped tornado warning, so even if there is a tornado on the ground, it would likely be hard to see that. Again, that circulation has broadened up, and the tornado warning has not been extended. Is set to expire at 10 o'clock. That is about 9 minutes away, so we will continue to keep watching for that.
Yeah, I would say, Becca, it might be already past here based on how quickly this is moving. So it's moving about 50 miles per hour. And so the radar already shows the leading edge past Albemarle. I would venture it's probably getting closer to the county line. So as I mentioned, there's 9 minutes left in this warning. So the county line is right here. This is going to expire, if not be out of the county before it expires. So it's going to head towards Uwharrie pretty quickly. Baden Lake area, that's going to be traveling up to the north and east. So the good news is it's flattened out. So this is more of what we call straight line wind damage. And this is how you can show this on the radar when you see this kind of tighten up like this. And it did earlier, just southwest, basically near Big Lick. It kind of spun up quickly. If there was damage done, I would venture it might have been just west of Albemarle, possibly towards the Big Lick area, because that's where it was tightening up. We'll go back a little bit. And right in here is where we had the strongest indication of a tornado. You actually had a little bit of a hook there on the velocity day, then it flattened out completely as it pushed off to the east. So I would venture to say we're probably not going to see an extension of this warning right now based on what I'm seeing on the radar. It does not look like we will see a downstream warning because it looks like it's flattening out, but this is getting into kind of a tough area for the radars. Remember, Doppler radar is a great tool, but it does not see all areas equally. One of the problems with getting far, far from the radar, it's like being far, far from a cell phone tower. The signal is weaker, and you're also not seeing very close to the ground. You're looking up higher in the sky. So this is the radar out of Raleigh, and you can see over Albemarle, it actually shows a little bit of rotation still. This was a couple minutes ago, and it's still showing some rotation. But again, that's rotation way above the surface, because from Raleigh, you're looking at basically about 10,000 feet up in the atmosphere. So this is what we call the mesocyclone. This would be the rotation in the mid-levels of the storm. And so we're not seeing anything that's probably too close to the surface. Now, doesn't mean it couldn't spin back up real quickly, and that's always a worrisome part about storms like this, because they tend to spin up quickly and go back down. This is not a supercell like we see out in the plains. This is something we call a QLCS tornado, and eventually that's just a name for a fast spin up within the squall line. Now, one of the things we can look at, this product here, I don't have the actual label on, but this is actually something we refer to as correlation coefficient. If we had lofted debris, this is what we would look at right here, and it's so far from the radar, you can't really see much showing up on the radar here. So I don't anticipate that we have anything that's anywhere near remotely touching the ground right now. This is probably just straight line winds. This is a quick loop just to show you. We'll back it up and kind of show you how the evolution, I mean, almost go back to 9:30 here. I mean, you could actually see this thing starting to right in here, especially near Big Lick. It kind of became a quick spin up there. It moved off and then it flattened out and completely fell apart. Southern part of the line we were watching as well, there was a little surge as well west of Wadesboro. That has dissipated as well. So I would say good news in all this. There is one giant severe thunderstorm warning for this area. And if you remember, when we first brought you the warning, we told you, hey, that these severe thunderstorms could produce a tornado with a little or no warning. So that was certainly going to be a possibility with these storms. But the good news, I think, at the top of the hour here is this warning is going to be allowed to expire. But this severe thunderstorm warning was set to expire at 10 a.m. One thing I do anticipate happening, they will allow that to expire. This will expire. Probably a new severe thunderstorm warning will be issued for this line because of its history. It'll be a very similar severe thunderstorm warning, which will include that tornado tag, meaning a tornado could occur with little or no warning. Now we're getting toward the edge of our viewing area. So our over-the-air signal, we're probably going to go off the air, but we will continue to stream on WCNC Plus and online till 10:15 until we get the bulk of this storm completely into the central part of the state. We're heading towards areas of central North Carolina and the Sandhills. So if you have friends or family, if you're watching us online here, you have not seen the worst of it yet. It is heading your way. The back edge is all the way through Charlotte now. So we're starting to see this move through. So kind of like what we expected from a time frame standpoint, we would see this kind of move out by mid-morning and exit the region. Now, one thing we're looking for now, if you can safely do it, do not put yourself in danger if you have the WCNC app and you have the near me feature. If you get damage reports, please pass them along. They do help us kind of confirm whether or not there was a tornado or not. And what that does as well, it helps your neighbors to the east take this storm more seriously, because some of the best information you can have are real eyewitness reports. People east of you will see those reports and take these warnings more seriously. Also helps the National Weather Service issue warnings downstream. So Becca, I don't know, I have not looked at the damage reports yet. We have not seen anything come in so far, which is probably a good sign. Being a Sunday morning, we probably would have heard something by now. Maybe another indication that this storm has weakened.
There has been no update from the National Weather Service, but it does look like they are going to let that tornado warning expire for Stanley County. That is starting to move out of Albemarle. Again, that does expire in about 3 minutes. Right now, still encompassed in those severe thunderstorm warnings that do continue for the eastern portion of the area for those 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So not out of the woods just yet. And this is only going to be maintaining its strength as it pushes to the east. So if you have any friends towards central or eastern North Carolina, this is the type of weather that is going to be headed your way as they continue to have that medium threat for on that severe weather outlook. So this is our first tornado warning that we've had, and it was issued for Stanley County. Rotating thunderstorms have always been a concern, but it's really been the straight line winds that we've been seeing damage reports from, down trees and down power lines, especially in places of the high country that we have seen those highest wind gusts from. No damage reports from this tornado warning just yet, and that is a good sign. Like Brad mentioned, people are listening and heeding to this warning. They are getting it to their safe spot. But after this passes, again, if you do see some damage in the area, definitely snap a picture and send it our way. The National Weather Service will oftentimes survey the area and determine if a tornado actually did touch the ground. Again, it had a much tighter circulation probably about 15 minutes ago, has now moved well past Albemarle, and we will continue to see, again, this tornado warning continue for the next 2 minutes, but will likely not be extended. So again, still have that active tornado warning, likely producing some really strong wind gusts in and around this area. Brad.
We're going to stay on this just until the top of the hour. We're going to go over to Kaylin, and we're going to continue streaming online as well coming up after the top of the hour. But as you mentioned, they are going to let this warning expire, Kaylin.
Yeah, you've been watching WCNC Charlotte and streaming live here on WCNC Plus as we monitor that tornado warning and those severe thunderstorm warnings right now that seem to be on the eastern part of our coverage area as that storm does continue to move through. We'll continue to follow the latest right here live on WCNC Plus. For now, Meet the Press is next.